New Zealand. It's one of the most beautiful countries on Earth. Stunning landscapes, crystal clear waters, and a quality of life most nations can only dream of. But here's the twist. Kiwis are leaving in droves. Despite excellent education, healthcare, and political stability, New Zealand has one of the highest immigration rates in the developed world. Over 10% of its entire population now lives in Australia alone. This isn't just a minor trend. So what's going on? Why are people fleeing paradise? New Zealand's economy is shaped by two realities. It's small, and it's incredibly remote. With just 5.3 million people, it lacks the scale to build globally competitive industries. Almost anything that can be done in New Zealand can be done cheaper and at a larger scale somewhere in Asia. Take financial services, for example. Why would a business bank in Auckland when Singapore is a global hub, or when Sydney has a larger market right next door? The only industries that really thrive are the ones that absolutely must be there. Tourism, for the scenery; local services, for the people who live there; and agriculture. New Zealand is one of the world's most agriculturally productive nations, but modern farming is highly mechanized. It doesn't create many jobs for educated city dwellers. So where is everyone else working? Housing, selling houses, renting houses, building houses, and financing houses collectively account for roughly half of New Zealand's entire economic output. This creates a vicious cycle. When half your economy is property, prices skyrocket. New Zealand now has some of the most unaffordable real estate in the world. The government tried banning foreign buyers, but they were only 3% of the market, and the ban specifically excluded Australians, who were the largest foreign buyer group. Why? Because Australia and New Zealand treat each other's citizens almost like their own. You might think young Kiwis are leaving for cheaper housing, but more than half are moving to Australia, where housing is often even more expensive. What they're really seeking is opportunity. Unless you want a career in agriculture or real estate, there simply aren't many specialized career paths in New Zealand. Larger Australian cities offer far more options for professionals, senior managers, researchers, and artists. Australia also has more universities and specialized courses. We treat New Zealand students the same as locals for tuition and even student loans. In some Australian medical schools, nearly half the students are from New Zealand, simply because there are more spots available here, and the move is incredibly easy. No visa, same language, and almost identical culture. For a young professional, the pull of Australian cities is strong, and the barrier to entry is almost zero. Currently, nearly 600,000 New Zealand-born people live in Australia. That's more than 10% of New Zealand's population. To replace these workers, New Zealand relies on immigration. But many of these new arrivals also end up leaving for Australia. New Zealand has developed a reputation as a backdoor into Sydney and Melbourne. It's relatively easier to get permanent residency in New Zealand, and once you have it, you can move to Australia. So why doesn't New Zealand just tighten its relationship with Australia? Politics. 10% of New Zealand's population lives in Australia. They're voters, and they're not going to support policies that make their lives harder. Plus, most Kiwis support the open relationship because it benefits them individually, even if it hurts the country collectively. And let's be honest, Australia and New Zealand are genuinely close allies. So, what's the fix? The solutions are long-term structural improvements. Creating better job opportunities outside of property and agriculture, reducing relative housing costs, and using the government's low debt to invest in the economy. Despite the brain drain, New Zealand has something most countries can't replicate. It's a safe, stable, and stunningly beautiful place to live. And as long as it maintains that, it will always attract people. The real challenge is just keeping them. What do you think? Is this brain drain a crisis, or just a natural side effect of having a big, open relationship with a larger neighbor? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.